This is very precarious, what I have sitting in front of me. It feels very dangerous.
There's an open flame.
Yeah, there's an open flame on the table here for the coffee break. Welcome back. I thought we'd kick this off. I got sent a new little tool that seemed pretty cool.
Okay.
This is the Flare Wizard. So this will steam milk with no espresso machine, just with a heat element. So you don't need any electricity. You could have this on a campfire and the heat will build up pressure inside the chamber and then you can just use it as a steam wand.
So for folks who are just listening to audio only, on the table in front of us, between us, we have a live flame here and Rowan has set up a contraption he really wants to show me.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a bomb. So up on the top, you got a little pressure gauge. So as it heats, it'll go up into the steaming mode. So you know when you've got enough pressure. It also has like you're too hot on the range as well, but it has a pressure valve that'll automatically release steam pressure off. So we're safe from that standpoint.
Good.
But so here on the side, we just have a little steam wand. So steam wand and a little valve or a little knob there to get it going. So here, I'll do a little purge. There is a little splatter from there. I don't know if it's the O-ring, but anyway, but let's see how we go.
So we're going to steam milk live.
This is riveting stuff.
Hopefully not on me.
All right, Walker's, I'm going to be off mic, so you're going to have to take us through what's happening here.
Okay, so Ron is positioning his milk jug. Beautiful angle there. He's turned it on. Okay, that little spurt out the top has seemed to be sealed. So we have a little gas stove on the podcast table here. Units there, heated up to pressure, steaming his milk. Got a good whirlpool going. Sensitive podcasting hands can handle the heat.
I know it might be a little cool there because I was holding it with my bare hands and I was like, I've got to turn this off.
And he does a purge after he's steamed.
Yeah.
Yep, great. Tick on the technical score sheet.
All right, let's see how this pours.
Oh, look at that. Oh, I'm going to take this from you. Beautiful. Look at that. There's some pretty good microfoam on there. Nice gloss, nice shine. Good positioning of your pour there.
Yeah, I was a little thin on it, but that was my mistakes, not the devices. And probably a little cool, but...
A little cool, but not too bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty tasty.
Can I have a sip of that?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's pretty... The way that I always put it is, I'm like, imagine if you were out camping and you've got like you got a Flare like manual espresso machine. You've got this sitting on the campfire. If you're making that while you're sitting by like a beautiful lake, that is a world that I want to be living in because that is amazing.
And so what is the unit called?
So this is the Flare Wizard.
Okay.
I think it's like $189 US. So like pretty reasonable. I kind of was saying, I'm like, you don't need it if you've got a machine, but if you're someone that camps or only dabbles in manual espresso, like the Flare kind of thing, then it's a great solution rather than like buying a machine or, that kind of thing.
So you pair this with the Flare, you've got your espresso base and now you can steam delicious, delicious milk.
And then for safety, here's a little safety valve that you pull it. Oh.
Turn off the temperature too. Turn off that little live flame. Ooh, let it out. Look at that. It's like he's on a photo shoot.
I'm getting like a steam facial here. This is quite nice. Just damaging all of our electrical gear sitting on the table.
That's cool. I like it. It looks really slick. Like it looks really nicely made.
Yeah, before we take it off, my kind of takeaways from like getting it works really well. Steams milk. You can steam, I think, what was it, like 6 liters of milk from that one vessel being filled up. So
that's pretty cool.
Party at a campsite, you kind of do it. There are a few, it is like a camp thing. Like it's all sturdy. Like it feels well made, not like it's going to explode. There were just a few like little touches that weren't like this, the little wooden handle, like even when it's locked in, it still slides a little bit. And for something that's like so hot, I'm like, that feels a little iffy. As you said, a little bit of water can sputter out at the joint there, but it feels like it's only at the start, then it stops. It's like just as it initiates. And then the threading on the steam wand knob can get like a little jammed. And when you're like trying to turn it off and it's like a click, I'm like, that's not the spot I want to have like a little click. But in terms of the functionality of steaming milk, the milk is amazing.
How does it package down for transport?
So you get the lid and the gauge come off. So we've removed the steam pressure. Let me just double check here. So
live explosion on camera.
So this comes off. Oh, I've got to close the little safety valve. So that's one part. So you have the lid and that as one. Then it's the body, and then the steam one screws off and that screws off. So you still have this one large main body, but everything else kind of like comes off the side of it. So it's relatively small. And if you were camping, I guess you could like store stuff inside the canister, chuck some socks in there or something.
Little hand grinder.
Yeah. Oh, a little hand grinder inside there.
Yep.
All right, now let me get this off of the stage here so I don't burn us. We're back. But yeah, I think I gave him a little fright there in the headphones. Ben jumps out of his seat. But yeah, I think that's really cool. Like the other kind of options that you've had for steaming have been something like the subminimal nanofoamer for portability. The nanofoamer Pro has to plug in, but the handheld nanofoamer, you just need to heat the milk and chuck it in. But for someone wanting more of just the experience of like a manual steam wand on an espresso machine, that feels like one of the only ones that are out there. I've seen a couple that are like that, but that feels like their new entry in, and I mean, it's pretty damn good.
I think it's pretty cool. Like if you were going to be camping and you've got like a caravan as well, like if your camping setup's a little bit more established, having like a little setup of that could be pretty great.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, this is our coffee break. We've just recorded an incredible episode with Morgan Eckroth. It was just so much fun, and I'm just filled with so much warm fuzzies because, you know, the tone of it was really led by Morgan, of just great hospitality and just enjoying experimenting with flavor and coffee. It was great.
She is kind of like the definition of like karma to me, of like what you put out in the world is what you get back. And she has even like looking at the hot takes, she's like, mine are always maybe a bit more lukewarm, because you can feel that like even when there are issues, like she wants to meet it with positivity or like a positive change and that kind of thing. And I think you could really tell that it like kind of echoed out throughout the podcast, and there was a lot of positivity.
I thought it was really interesting how they mentioned about having a persona, a social media persona that was very much treated like a business or an approach. It didn't seem disingenuous at all. It was just really talking about how the structure and the systems for taking that to the world helped to kind of, I guess, make it less terrifying to have 8 million people kind of following what you say online. It's like, no, that's just part of the job.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with those kind of things, you really do have to like separate yourself out from it. And I think her having that strategic approach with everything that she did, obviously she said she had a media background, so that's where that stems from. But you could see that there was a thought process there where it's like, bringing a digital form of hospitality is like an approach. And when you have that guiding principle, it's very easy to be like, I just need to recreate that and create the experience of a positive hospitality experience.
Yeah.
Say experience 5 times in a row.
Experience.
And then even the thoughts of like for her skits where you don't actually hear her speaking, the thought process of like, I wanted people to be able to imprint themselves in the videos to be a part of it. I wanted it to be accessible for people that might not be able to hear it. And there's so much nice thought that goes in there. And you can see when you have like clear guiding principles that you can make something pretty great. And I wouldn't have guessed that those kind little skits would work. Like that wouldn't be my guess, but people found almost like meditation in it. They found kindness in it. They share warmth. The comment sections are so loving. It's amazing.
Yeah. We don't need to always go for the controversial clickbait.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's great. And I think some really great practical tips for people there about how to think about and introduce signature beverages into their business, into their workflow for both baristas and cafe owners. Like what's the use of that for us as we all move forward in exploring different parts of coffee?
Yeah, she's definitely someone that I think with a lot of different either food creators or coffee creators online, you can kind of look at it and be like, how much experience is there behind this or what I'm learning from this person? But she's someone that beyond being an online personality has put in the 10,000 hours. Like, you know, she's put in the time of doing it. Like entering multiple competitions and competing on that world stage is no small feat, and coming runner-up in the World Barista Championships
doesn't happen by accident.
No, not at all. Yeah, I thought she had some amazing kind of tips with signature drinks, some things that we kind of, I think, both echo in the creation of them and how they've taken over the industry, but we need to maybe, as she said, come full circle and circle back to really putting the coffee first and building it out from there rather than just slapping on a banana cream foam or whatever.
Yeah, start with the inspiration of the coffee. Where does it kind of lead you in the conversation, either from the background to it? You know, she was talking about her the signature drink as being very inspired by Colombian and South American kind of flavors and beverage experiences. So you can kind of tap into lots of different parts of inspiration.
Also, the storytelling in the narrative as your cafe is so important. Some of those tips there about like utilizing the ingredients that you're already using. She was talking about was it Keeper or Tried and True? I can't remember, but one of them she was saying their most popular syrup or coffee was a rose and cardamom syrup. Now, I don't think that anyone would, if you said to have a guess at what you think a most popular syrup would be at a cafe, I think you'd just say like vanilla or chocolate, I don't know, whatever, basic syrups. But obviously, that cafe is bringing in an audience. They're telling a story. They're promoting and communicating their offering with the audience for that to then become the most popular, and B, obviously it's talked about. They're sharing it with some customers. They experience the rose and cardamom, and then they're telling people about it to come in. So it kind of talks about how important that narrative and communication is with the customers coming in.
Yeah. And I think you've got to find creative ways to have that connection because, like we've talked about in previous episodes, if people are just interacting with this by looking at a menu board, seeing the name of it, seeing a description, how do you tell that story? So you're not just like, oh, yeah, sure, here's your drink. And then they kind of get a little bit lost or the value gets lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be fun for cafes, interesting and a great learning experience for how do you kind of take people on that story with you as they're like looking at an unusual kind of combination of drinks?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's like the biggest takeaway I got from that whole thing. It's like there's an opportunity for fun. There's like theatricality on multiple levels. It's like the added layers of texture, the added layers of different flavor combinations and all these things, the storytelling, all these things all ladder up to the fact that it's fun. Your interaction with these spaces and the kind of fingerprints of the brands of these places is fun.
Yeah.
And we coined a new term on the episode of floppy whipped cream. Oh my God, it's so visceral as a sensory judge, just whipping out floppy whipped cream.
We really were just talking about how amazing the rebranding idea of like, oh, it's not whipped cream, it's a foam or it's like...
You would be judged if you walked into your workplace with a coffee with whipped cream in the morning, but now you walk in with a cold brew with a floppy whipped cream, a cold foam on the top. And everyone's like, oh, that's so trendy. That's so cool. And it's like, what a rebrand.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Is that what we need to do with coffee overall? Instead of it being just like, oh, I'm getting espresso, I'm getting like 9-bar coffee oil.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like just a full...
Needs a bit of zhuzh.
Yeah.
A little spice it up.
And I just remembered I've got something for us. So you guys hold tight here.
Okay.
We'll edit out this break unless you say something amazing while I'm gone. But I'll be back.
We got to talk about it, Liam.
We can talk about everything.
Ooh, we've got the options.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we will talk about when Rowan gets back, but we didn't discuss this with Morgan, but the idea of using infused coffees in signature drink.
Infused coffees.
Yeah, so this is where coffees have been infused at the producing level, so at the processing level.
Like a co-ferment.
Yeah, you can do co-fermenting is one technique where you're actually adding in something during that fermentation. But then infusion is literally kind of having something that's either applied through a steam or an oil that soaks into the seed itself.
Yeah.
And so you come out with a very distinctly flavored kind of green coffee. And so that would be a great opportunity to go, is that an interesting direction for coffee purists to look at signature beverage?
See, this is where I struggle with the whole idea of cutting corners and being able to like zhuzh up lower grade coffees. Like that whole balance between like getting really good coffee and this being a plus to that coffee experience, or you get like kind of a bad coffee and then you kind of hide the lack of quality with added flavors. And
you're right. There are two sides to this, but the flip side is kind of like what I think Jack was talking about on our interview previously was, who are we to tell a coffee producer what they can and can't do in terms of creating a sustainable business? And the reality is every coffee farm will turn out some low-grade coffees. And if you can increase the value of that, it's not about necessarily hiding, but if you can increase the value of that coffee by infusing it with something, then that's great. But here's the bonus hot take right?
Oh, here, bonus hot take.
This is the bonus hot take is what is the difference between infused green coffee and a signature beverage? Okay, we're talking about adding things to coffee to alter the flavor experience.
Well, as Morgan said, is there a third ingredient?
Oh, okay. One thing plus one thing. So 2 ingredients is not a signature drink.
Yeah.
Does not a signature drink make.
But I think a lot of places would claim their infused coffees as a signature drink kind of thing.
Kind of an interesting thing because I think there's a real pushback from a lot of coffee specialists saying infused coffee is not really a good representation of origin or a place, which might be true. But then on the flip side are encouraging cafes to launch signature beverages, which are adding all these other things to the coffee.
Yeah.
So where are we? Are we being hypocritical here in the line that we're drawing about like, oh, well, consuming nations are allowed to add things to coffee, but producing nations, no.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever looked at like the infused coffees where I'm breaking down like the actual flavor profile of the coffee bean and what it's been infused in. I'm like, oh yeah, this tastes like coffee and it tastes like coconut or whatever it is. But I think there's probably so much to grow in this field of like flavor combos that actually work well with the style of bean that they're using and its, natural terroir and then adding to it. I don't know. I'm sure it's going to get like natural wine or whatever. It's going to get more refined and more interesting as we move through,
You know what I think is a classic pairing that always should be there is chocolate and mint. Because I feel like when those two things come together, there's beautiful synergy.
We had the chat on the pod last time about how anyone that has choc mint ice cream is a baby and you don't need to brush your teeth with your ice cream, you absolute children. And then I'm getting people messaging me after the podcast being like, no, it's elite. You all obviously have no palate.
Yes.
And you shouldn't be doing anything with coffee.
Rally, my mint lovers. Rally.
Sorry, Morgan, I'm not taking your friendliness on board here, and I think you're all idiots. No.
My just a passing thought as well with signature things and flavors being added is something that gives it quality, just that freshness. Like if we're talking about mint ice cream, I remember it was Billy Van Creamy. I went in there and it was specifically fresh mint ice cream. And there was kind of a grassier note. There was a bit of a thing. Is that the same thing? Like, I think if you have like preservative fake vanilla flavoring, but then you have like fresh.
Yeah. I will say with most things in life, there aren't many things food-wise that I'll be like, I don't like that. I hate that. I'll never have it. There are foods where I'm like, often that food is presented poorly. And like, I think eggplant, people screw it up so much and it can be like so slimy and texturally off. And a lot of times I don't like it. But if it's prepared well, I will love it. It's the same thing. I'm sure there are choc chip ice creams or choc mint ice creams out there that if it was made very well, I'm sure I'd like it. But you run of the mill going to an average like Baskins and Robbins or whatever and getting it, terrible.
Let's move on.
We did get a little gift sent from someone I met when I was at like a Sunbeam coffee event. He runs like a dad blog called Dad Life with Dan. And he makes some teas. And I said, you got to send me and my co-host out one because they speak to both of us having young children here. We've got the No Sleep Club.
Look at that.
T-shirt, the black tee with the No Sleep Club.
The laughter and the tears.
The laughter and the tear. That one is for you. But the real kicker is this one. The little baby one.
Goodness.
There's the little baby No Sleep Club. Look at that.
That is so cool.
There you go.
Oh,
Dad gang.
So we'll have to get these on. And it's very fitting. It's like he knew that our child, that's right, your size. Let's get you in that. I'd love to see it. Last night was a nightmare. Kid was up every hour. It was a shocker. I have not slept at all. So this is very fitting. The No Sleep Club. Thank you for those.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Definitely be wearing these coming up. Oh, it's a beautiful pairing, coffee and No Sleep Club.
Yeah, exactly. They go hand in hand. Where were we next?
What's the news that we can have a little chat about?
Oh. Speaking of No Sleep Club, that is very calming music that's just making me slowly drift into the chair. But I've got the energy for our listeners. I'm here. Let's take us on some news. Take us on some news. I'm out. I'm done. Take us on some news.
On the news approach.
God.
Well, this is kind of getting a little geeky, so, I might put you to sleep again here. But there's a new study that's just come out recently. It was conducted or led by the team through the UK-based Royal Botanic Gardens of Kew. And they've been doing some study into the particular species of Coffea liberica.
Ooh.
And so this is, in the coffee world, there's two major coffee species, right, that have been cultivated commercially predominantly, and that's Coffea arabica and Coffea canephora, which is AKA Robusta. And Liberica's been this other species that's been out there. So this is before we get to varietals. So a lot of people are kind of talking about Bourbon or Typica or Pacamara. These are all varietals of the Arabica species.
Would you go as wide to say it's like this is a red grape and a green grape? That's Arabica and...
No, that is more around like if you were saying Bourbon, Typica, Pacamara, Catamore. This is like they are all parts of a particular grape species, and then there are different species of grape. So my botanical knowledge here is going to be stretched, but I think it's Vinus vinifera is the grape species that we normally drink the varietals of like Shiraz, Pinot, and so on, right? Or like if there's a white grape, whatever, Cabernet or something like that. But there are other grape species out there as well. Interestingly, in North America, there's some indigenous grape species that they're turning into wines that are like indigenous to North America, real cold climate stuff up in like the Finger Lakes of New York.
How cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating. Different kinds of structure and flavor. And the same can be said here for the coffee species. The interesting thing with these coffee species kind of difference, the research has come out saying that, Liberica was considered to have a few variations, but they've actually done some genomic analysis to it and studied and said, actually, there is probably 3 different species. There's Liberica, there's Excelsa, which I think is technically known as De Wevry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Known as Excelsa, and then a newly recognized Clani. My Latin, I don't know these Latin terms. I'm mangling these, but 3 different species.
And what does that mean?
Yeah, I think that the implication of this is really about the genetic diversity that is there in coffee. So it looks at like how resilient it might be for pests and diseases, the kinds of different crosses that we can make when we're kind of doing different breeding programs.
Oh, so we're saying that this maybe opens up more doors for like the work that Katie Cardullo was talking about.
With World Coffee Research.
Yeah, with World Coffee Research, right.
Yeah, it kind of like gives us a little bit more knowledge about it and where the overlaps are and kind of progressing where coffee can be grown. They all have different characteristics. So it's just kind of an interesting little bit of new research out there. And, we've been talking, we just had Morgan on the podcast and mentioning that they used for their competition in 2022 a Eugenoides particular kind of species of the coffee tree, which was thought lost at different times.
Well, I tell you what, Ben, I didn't think I'd be coming into the office today and finding out that Liberica and Excelsa are different species.
I know, just blowing your mind.
What a wild world that we live in.
And there you go, the latest cutting edge news from It's Just Coffee. Well, I've got another bit of news. I'm like, leave it to me to bring the Coffee Geek news. Some other fun, interesting, but I don't know how much of an implication it's going to have. But Starbucks is just launching their latest store in Texas, and it is fully 3D printed.
What do you mean? Like those little 3D printer boxes?
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're just printing brick by brick.
Yeah, exactly. 1, 2. No, it's like a large unit print, and so the store itself is relatively small footprint. It's a takeaway only store, but I believe that it's a concrete, some kind of polymer there.
Oh, I've seen these. So it's more like a giant like crane hand that then like layers it, and it just does
kind of goes
circles.
round and round and builds
Yeah.
up vertically. And they've deliberately left that exposed. It's kind of got a cool looking ridged texture on it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're touting it as having like sustainability kind of credentials, that it's easier to do. I don't really know if that makes it any easier or more sustainable. I mean, there's lower labor costs. I don't know if that's more sustainable or not. But yeah,
They should have used used coffee grounds or something in the cement, because
Yeah.
they've been doing that as tests. Like, was it out of
Yes.
RMIT where they were like adding coffee grounds into concrete, like makes it stronger, more structurally strong or something like that?
Yeah, and I've seen even people using chaff, the kind of the byproduct.
Oh, is that how you
of
say
coffee
chaff?
roasting.
I've always got it chaff.
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 Oh, we have to get the chaff. I have to put on my chaff before I head to the theatre.
We need to do a quick take of everyone saying chaff or chafe or chief.
Chaff.
So as long as it's not chafing, you know,
Yeah.
that's all good.
Oh, I've had some chafing. It's not good. Talk about chafe fires.
Well, that could be happening with, I'm sure that's the marketing angle that Starbucks are going for. But yeah, 3D printing, you know, making some things available a little bit quicker, a little easier. Could be kind of cool to have programs that you can just download and say, I want a cool hipster cafe right
Print
here,
it.
and just go print that
my
stuff.
cafe.
Yeah.
I'd do that.
Yeah.
I'll do it right now.
Technologies. Okay, we're going to take a little break here and cross live to our reporter in the field, Ollie from Condesa, who's going to give us an update on the coffee market.
What's he got for us?
Hi, Ben and Rowan. Great to connect. It's the 1st of October 2025, and today the market is at 374.85. This week, we're likely to see market levels of 381 to 393 being tested. Why? Well, lots of rain in Brazil last week has turned to actually a dry forecast this week. And whilst not unusual, it is putting upward pressure on the market. On top of that, ICE stock levels are at 571,000 bags, which is breaking below the 6,000k bag level. And that is a dramatic drop, which is pushing the market up. The USD is weak against the Brazil real, also putting upward pressure on the C market price. Managed money, however, has started to place some shorts on the market, which, along with news that President Trump and Lula from Brazil are due to meet soon, plus the fact that we've got the Central American crop coming online, this has been acting as a brake on the market, hopefully avoiding it to go above the 400 cents level. So, short term, we're likely to see the market go up again. But October the 15th is a key date, as the possibility of tariffs changing will happen on that day. For roasters, keep nimble, be willing to think outside the box of blend qualities, and always take risk off the table. That's it from me. Back to you guys in the studio. It's just coffee. And all the best.
And that is this week's coffee market. Thank you, Ollie. That brings us to the end of a coffee break. What a coffee break we've had. What an episode with Morgan. What a kind person that we had on the pod.
Yeah.
I hope you all enjoyed that. If you want to hit us up with any questions that are coming up, I mean, we've got Post Milano coming up. We've got the WBC.
So good.
It's going to be a huge end of the year. I think we're both going to be there, which is going to be giant. Obviously, you're going to be there because you're a World Barista Championship judge. But news to the peeps that I might be coming along and joining. So that's going to be huge. If you have any questions, if you have any hot takes, anything you want to say to us, reach out at
It's just coffee. Oh, hello at itsjustcoffeepod.com.
Yes, he's nailed it.
Bing.
Hit us up on all the socials. We'd love to hear from you. Also, follow Ben Bicknell. What's your at? Where can people find you?
At Ben Bicknell.
At Ben Bicknell.
That's where I'm at.
That's it. You can
Yep.
find us at Golden Brown. We love hearing from all of you. Do you have anything else to finish off for the end of the episode?
Yeah, look, we've been working really hard at getting some great guests in and tackling some of the big kind of ideas and concepts, which we've got some absolute crackers continuing to come up, following on from the high note of Morgan. And so, but if there's any particular topics you'd like us to dig into, any problems you think the industry needs help solving, or someone that's amazing that we just should have on the podcast, you just want to hear from them, drop us a message. We're always kind of thinking about who we can get on next and who's going to be valuable for all of you.
Yep. Share it with a friend. Subscribe. All these things help us. We're going to make it bigger, better, and get more for you guys. We love you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Bye. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have a quick word from one of our sponsors, Apax Lab. Elevate your coffee experience with Apax Lab Mineral Concentrates. Apex Labs' precision-engineered formulas, including tonic, jam, and lilac, are designed to enhance the coffee's natural flavors. Not going to change it, it's just going to enhance it. It's going to bring out the vibrant acidity, the rich sweetness, or if you use lilac, it might bring out those delicate floral notes that you've been looking for. Trusted by world-class cafes and even barista champions, Apex Lab helps you unlock your coffee's full potential. Discover more at apexlab.com. Wait, where was that again, Sonam?
The internet.
Oh, okay. Thought he was going to say the website. Thanks. Today's episode is brought to you by our amazing sponsors at Eco Barista. The reason I sound like this is because they got massages at our stand at Mice, and so I'm getting a massage while recording this message for you. They're the best sponsor of the pod that we could have had. They have the best eco products. This probably sounds really pornographic, but it's not. I'm just getting a massage. They have the best eco-friendly coffee products. They got coffee bags that you can design yourself. They got cups. They got iced coffee cups. They got everything you need. So make sure to support them because they support us. Head to ecobarista.com.au and get 15% off your first purchase when you sign up. Oh, mama, that's good.